everybody, and welcome into Blue Jays Today, where your boys always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And as of today, on September 25th, the Blue Jays are now tied with the New York Yankees for the lead in the AL East. We have let a 5-game lead slip in just a matter of 1 month, and it all has to do with the way they've been playing lately. We're going to break down exactly what they're doing lately. I mean, if you've been watching the games, you don't even need me to break it down, but this is just more of a therapy session for everybody right now. And then we're going to talk about what the odds are of the Blue Jays actually getting the AL East crown back, and can they do it? And if they don't, what will it look like come for the next week for the wildcard series? Before we get into it, guys, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button if you're a Blue Jay fan and you're feeling pretty stressed out right now. Let's flash over to the AL East standings right now, everybody. Here we are. Dang, 90 games is what we have for the win column, but there's New York as well. You flash over to the regular season and we are tied, but we do have the tiebreaker. That's the one positive, because we did beat them in head-to-head record this year. But with the way they're playing right now, it is not looking good or not feeling confident right now.
No, it's ugly baseball, guys. It really, really is. Yesterday, we were live for that game against Crochet, and I know it's Garrett Crochet, and like he is a very special player, but holy mother of God, like it was not competitive. There were so many innings right there where it was, 9 pitches, right? 3 pitches a batter. And that's just not the Toronto Blue Jays brand of baseball. Because when we've seen them be successful, and when we've seen them like really like fight for hits and be that number 1 team in average, they're having those long at-bats. They're having those sustained at-bats. They're fouling off the tough pitches. They're taking the ones that are pitchers' pitches, and then they're doing damage on the ones where they're coming after them. And yesterday, that wasn't the case. They were going after the pitcher's pitches, and when they finally did get a pitch to actually hit from Crochet, they were incapable of doing it. Now, they did have a couple times where, it was a hard hit ball and it just went in straight into somebody's glove, and that's baseball, right? You're going to have that, but Boston had that too, and they ended up putting up 7 runs. So the Toronto Blue Jays offense right now, like the way that they are playing baseball, this is not a caliber that is warranting of a playoff team. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you're not going to win any playoff games. They are going to the playoffs. They're not going to win any games playing like this. Now, I know people in here might be thinking, oh, well, what about Max Scherzer? Well, what about him? It doesn't matter, because you're not scoring any runs. Max Scherzer could have been perfect. You could have thrown Shane Bieber out there or Kevin Gausman out there, and if they pitch to their best and maybe they go scoreless, right? Maybe they don't give up any runs, right? That's awesome. Well, the Blue Jays, for the most part of the game, until it was garbage time, didn't score any runs either. You're not going to win any baseball games not scoring runs, and that has been the story as of late. Now, I know it feels like the sky is falling, and we got a quote right here from John Schneider addressing it. It feels like the sky is falling right now, saying John Schneider, but he says it's fucking not. We got 90 wins and we're in the playoffs. And if the season ended today, like I said, you're winning the AL East. So I want them to come out and not press. I want them to come out and play confident. I want to hear your reactions, because my reactions, that's what I was saying for the last couple days in the last week and a half, was it looked like they started to press. It looked like they were trying to force the issue, force getting hits, force winning games, force scoring runs, where that's not their approach in the early part of the season. Their approach early part in the season was, let's select a pitch, let's go up with a game plan and focus on that and not the results, and put a good swing on the baseball. What are your thoughts also on John Schneider's comment right here?
So I get what Schneider's trying to do, and I think he's really trying to play the mental game right here with the boys. When you feel like the sky is falling, obviously you are going to inherently want to press. You are going to want to get hits. You're always going to want to get hits, but like you're going to be in your mental about trying to get hits and scoring runs. So I think that John Schneider is coming out here, and honestly, this comment is less for the public and it's more for the boys in the clubhouse, right? Because they need to feel like the sky is not falling right down. They need to feel like they are still a competitive and confident and strong baseball team that can do damage against even the Garrett Crochets of the world. And that's not the team that I've seen, take the field in the last week of time. So ultimately, like, this squad needs to not press, even though as fans, we need them to press, because they're in a spot right now where obviously you do need to get wins, but it's this crazy happy medium balance right here that the best teams are capable of doing, where we are still playing our best brand of baseball. We are trying, we're giving 110%, but at the same point, there's that inherent confidence that we don't need to press every single at bat.
And right now it's you got to get that confidence out of nowhere. It's almost got to be like a light switch, because the Blue Jays in the last 15 days have not been a very good baseball team. You guys already know this, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. They're 23rd in OPS in the last 15 days of baseball. If you've been watching the games, you probably could get that feeling right there. And look at the guys who are pressing. I mean, Ernie Clement's kind of playing to what he's been playing all season long. It doesn't look like he's pressing. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been pressing everybody. I mean, we see it out there. It is not looking good. He's getting tossed from games. I'm pretty sure it's the first time he got tossed since 2020 or 2019.
2019, yeah.
His rookie year. That's how you know he's pressing. He's got a 212 batting average, an OPS of 512. You need Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I feel like a broken record saying this. You need him to be a star like he's been all year and not press. Dalton Varsho is falling off a table. Nathan Lucas is kind of reverting back to Nathan Lucas of old. Addison Barger, you can kind of feel the press there. He's batting below the Mendoza line the last 15 days. David Schneider, Jimenez, literally everybody but George Springer here, ladies and gentlemen. And I guess you could argue Ernie Clement is pressing. They all need to figure it out.
Yeah, 100%, man. And Alejandro Kirk, my favorite player, is batting below 150. And yesterday the game ended with him getting what, for anyone is a base hit, and then having him get thrown out at first, which is
get booed,
right? And I mean, like, that's just one of those things that, like, it's kind of embarrassing, honestly. To further hammer this point home, shout out to our man Chris Black. I mean, he knows his stuff, and Sportsnet stats. But Chris Black right here, the Toronto Blue Jays hitters, they have a 463 OPS over their last 7 games. So, we get on Andres Jimenez all the time, right? Andres Jimenez is not a very good hitter. Andres Jimenez on the season has like a 600, mid 600 OPS. They're doing 200 points worse than that as a team in the most crucial stretch of the season. This is not a squad right now that deserves the bye, if I'm being completely honest with you.
No, they don't. They don't at all. And look how bad it's been the last 30 years, right? This is like a historical collapse is what's happening right now. And you're right, they don't deserve the bye, because they're playing like a team that it should be, in all these other years. Pretty bad. Like 1978 is on this list twice. That's like the year after expansion.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually insane. And again, the Sportsnet stats hammered home one more time. They scored 1 or fewer runs in 6 of the last 7 games. It doesn't matter if you get the bye or not. Like, the way you're playing right now, you're asking for a early exit.
100%. That being said, though, I do think that they need the bye.
They do?
Because as it stands right now today, folks, we're recording this on Thursday, September 25th. In less than a week's time, the wild card series would start. It would be on that Tuesday, right? So I don't want to be walking into a wild card on Tuesday with the way that we're playing. We're going to talk about who they could potentially be matched up against if they were to do that. But this is the scenarios that need to happen, in my opinion, to avoid that wild card series, because I don't want to be in a 3-game series. If the Blue Jays go 4-0, which I don't think they're going to do. I know you don't think they're going to do.
No.
But if they were to do it, somehow magic came out and they go 4-0, they win the division, they get the bye, nothing New York can do. If they go 3-1, that forces New York's hand. New York would have to be perfect the remainder, and they've been very, very good recently, but going 4-0 for any team is very tough. This is where we get into the more likely scenarios, I think. Toronto goes 2-2. They got 3 games against Tampa Bay. They got today's final game, bullpen day. Louis Varland starting, opening anyways, up against Brian Bayo. They go 2-2. New York goes 3-1. New York has the White Sox today, and then they get 3 games against Baltimore. I think that's very possible.
Yeah, that's most likely, right? They could sweep the White Sox and go 2-1 against the Orioles. That's very, very likely for those New York Yankees. And then for the Blue Jays side of things, like, okay, yeah, maybe you get 1 win today, you scrap out a win, but you're up against the Rays, and the way you're playing right now, I mean, those first 2 games against the Rays in Steinbrenner Field just last week, you had offense. Last 2 games, you didn't have any offense. Now you don't have any offense. So are you going to even get a win? If you get maybe 1 win, that's 2-2. Now, if you do want to look at the optimistic side, because it's been very doom and gloom so far, if you zoom out And you look at just like the Blue Jays homestand as a whole, you know, and they go 3-1, that's a homestand split. But you need the offense to come back. If they get the homestand split, which is very askable, right? And we were talking about this way earlier in the week on a Monday when we did Blue Jays Today show. Now you're asking the New York Yankees to be perfect, right? We're going back to the whole 6-0, 3-3 scenario. If the Blue Jays can wake up today and they can win this game and they can go and just go win 2 of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays at home, that's very effing doable. Then you can clinch the AL East and get a much needed bye.
It's like they still have the chance to, you know, like they still control their own destiny here, right? There's nothing New York can do if you win out. But if you lose today, and New York wins today, which is honestly pretty, I mean, at least for New York winning. I don't know if we're going to lose or win or whatever, but they got Carlos Rodon on the bump against the White Sox, so I like their chances right there. If you lose, they win. Now that's flipped, and they have the advantage on you. Now let's talk about that wild card series, everybody, because that would start next Tuesday. And should the Toronto Blue Jays go 2-2 and the New York Yankees go 3-1 or whatever, we will be playing in this. Tuesday, September 30th is the wild card series. As it stands today, and I'll be honest, I don't even think that many things can change. But as it stands today, if the Toronto Blue Jays were to enter the wild card, they would take over that New York spot, and then it would very likely be the exact same series that you are watching right now. Boston against Toronto in the Rogers Center, Boston having Garrett Crochet and Lucas Giolito and probably Breo in Game 3.
How do we do against those guys?
It would likely be the exact same situation. Now we would have Kevin Gausman, we would have Shane Bieber instead of Max Scherzer, but then God only knows what would happen in Game 3. I have no idea. But realistically, we could be playing next Tuesday this exact same series at the Rogers Center against the Boston Red Sox. I don't want to be doing that.
Yes.
Because we're seeing right now what could happen if we did that.
There would be demons that haven't left you. Like you just face these guys and they kind of scarred you and they beat your ass. I don't want to be facing the Red Sox, which even hammers home the point. You got to turn it on now because this team looks like they need a reset. That 5-day reset, the whole week, they get a whole week off. They need to go and reset. That's what they need to do. So you need to wake up today. They need to win because then you're asking for, if you don't win today, you're asking for a sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays. If they win today, all you need to do is win 2 of 3 and just pray there's a loss right there for the Yankees somewhere.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I'll put it as simply as this, everybody. If they are still capable of getting that bye, I think that we can put this stretch behind us. I think they'll have enough time to put this behind us. And I think that the Toronto Blue Jays could still make some noise in the postseason. If that doesn't happen, I think they're one and done out in the wild card.
Absolutely.
Like I just
saw it happen
with the way that it's like it's this crazy collapse that is transpiring right now. They got to get out of here. You know, it's like in a in a football game or a hockey game or something like that. You need the period.
Yeah, we need the period.
We need the half to come because we got to get out of this fucking half right now. We got to regroup. That's what the Jays need right now. But folks, let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Please make sure to hit that like, smash that subscribe button. $4 a month become a YouTube membership. And thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are amazing.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
go Jays, go.